Hey guys, welcome back. So today let's talk about the trick shot. A trick shot, if you've never heard of this is where you do something extremely simple in the most complicated way possible. In other words, if you've ever watched something like Dude Perfect, they have built an empire off of making a trick shot. If you wanted to shoot a simple hoop, put a basketball through a net. Instead of just doing that, you would take several different steps or chain reactions in the process of getting the basketball to the hoop. If you wanted to put a water bottle in the trash can, instead of just doing that, you would create a trick shot. Several different chain reactions, aka energy transfers of different objects on the way to doing that. So let's take a look at something as simple as putting a ball into a cup. Instead of just putting the ball into the cup, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a huge series of energy transformations. And I'm going to start it all off with my body's stored chemical energy. And from there, I'm going to create mechanical energy of the ball in motion. It can create some thermal energy. I can have some acoustic energy, and on this goes. And I can get new and different energy transformations every single time the ball moves from one stage of my trick shot to the next. And all of this is designed to get that ball into the cup. One very simple task in the most complicated way possible by using a series of energy transformations. And here we go down the ramps. Oh my gosh. Now, for each energy transformation, remember, we have energy is being changed in form. However, the amount of energy stays the same. And this is our law of conservation of energy. So now let's take a look at the designer of such a trick shot like this, the original trick shot. And this is one wacky device using nothing but your imagination, nothing but your knowledge of science and how energy is going to continue to get objects on the move. This was created by someone named Rube Goldberg. He was an inventor, an engineer, an author, a cartoonist, but he came up with this idea that if you have several different objects, several different energy transformations or chain reactions to do a very simple task, it makes for a really unique experience. So in this situation here, how did we end up catching the bike thief? Well, if you used a Rube Goldberg, you would essentially set a booby trap using energy transformations. You might have his motion set off a rope with mechanical energy, triggering some elastic potential energy, and then so on and so forth. You could probably release some thermal, some mechanical, some acoustic energy, all by design. Okay, so this week, what you're going to do is you are going to either choose a Rube Goldberg simulator to design your own chain reaction to do a trick shot, to complete a very simple task in a roundabout way of energy transformations, or you can build one on your own. So if you would like to do a simulation, an online version of a Rube Goldberg, you're going to open up the Rube Goldberg simulations Google Doc, and there is a link for you to follow here. Now, when you follow that link, you have several different options of Rube Goldberg interactives, things that you can digitally build Rube Goldberg contraptions to get your object from the starting point and using different objects and forms of energy to get it to the finish line. Now, just a heads up on this, if your computer is not running Flash, I know some people have had issues opening up animations. These are run by Flash. So give it a try with your computer. You might have to unblock Flash to get these to run. But let's just say you chose one like Tom's Trap-O-Matic based on Tom and Jerry here. You are in a situation where you have several different tools at your disposal in order to get one object to the end to get Tom into catching Jerry at the end, and you get to test that out. So then when you go back to the Google Doc, you are going to describe that challenge. You can either draw and label the Rube Goldberg design that you came up with, or you can take a screenshot of what you came up with from the website and copy and paste that there. And then what you're going to do, and this is the most important part, you are going to describe the energy transformations along the machine that you have built. So if you started by pushing something, you're starting with a mechanical energy, transforming perhaps to thermal as the object rolls, elastic potential if something is stretched in the process. Go back to that PowerPoint of our forms of energy, and that way you can see all of the forms of energy you have available and what forms of energy are being used in your Rube Goldberg. So you're going to want to choose several of the options that are here and build digitally your Rube Goldberg chain reaction trick shots to get your object from the start to the finish. Okay. Now let's say that you wanted to build one of these on your own. You have a lot of things that you can use in your house to do this, and you have some extra time on your hands to be creative. So this is an example of how you can use some of your household items to do something very, very simple. In this situation, all they wanted to do was turn on the light switch, but they're going to do that through a series of energy transformations or a series of steps. So you can build your own from your own materials at home, and you can set this up and then take a picture or video of your finished product. So what you want to do with this is on your image, you are going to label the different steps in your process. So for example, if step 1 is putting a weight down on a teeter-totter, you would label that as step 1. Maybe step 2 is a truck then is able to roll off of the inclined plane onto the track. Step 3, the truck is driving down the track, and so forth. So set this up, take a photo, and identify the different steps in your process here. If you choose to actually build your Rube Goldberg, which is really cool, then you don't need to do the online simulations. You can go right into the Rube Goldberg build project. And it says that your goal is to get a marble or any object that you have into a cup at the end of a 10-step process. So what you want to do is set this up, trial and error. This works to get me from step 1 to step 2. This didn't work. Let me go find something else. Use anything you have at home. Kitchen utensils, garage pieces and parts, toys, connector sets, railroad train pieces from when you were a kid. Set it up. It can be wacky, but make sure your energy is pushing your object into the cup at the end. So again, you can either take a photo and copy and paste that into this area space here. Or if you have a video, you can put the video link in here so we can see it on the move. But just like with the online simulations, this is the most important piece. As you have labeled your stages in your Rube Goldberg, you are going to need to describe the energy transformation that happens at that point in time in your Rube Goldberg machine. So for example, if at the very first step of the machine, I start with mechanical energy by something being pushed, and that transforms to some thermal, some friction, and I hear that process, the very first step to the process has this series of energy transformations, mechanical to thermal to acoustic. So you are going to need to list the energy transformations for each step of your Rube Goldberg. These can be seriously cool. They can be a whole lot of fun to make. Just make sure that you have fun with the process. Okay, I cannot wait to see these. Don't forget to look at your forms of energy PowerPoint as you're building to help you pick out the different forms of energy that are being transformed. All right, guys, enjoy this one. Bye.